Hey there, so I'm working on making clothing for my doll. I'm still waiting for the tool to do the face up. So in the meanwhile, I'm like, let me build her a little wardrobe. So right now she came with this. So this is her top for now. And this is a skirt I made using this fabric. I have another swatch so you can see it better. And it's just a cotton fabric that I have. I have a few fabrics, so I'm trying to experiment on them. And I was experimenting with elastic, so it's an elastic band actually. I'm still a newbie when it comes to sewing, so this actually came out a little tight as far as fitting it over the body. So I actually had to remove her arms and pull this on over the top. So this is probably not going to be a good idea for when the head is done and the head is attached. So I might have to retire this once the head goes back on and not use it. But it was nice to see how attaching the elastic will restrict the size of the dress. So I probably, or the size of the skirt rather, I probably should have used a longer piece of elastic, a little more fabric, and then maybe ruffled it a little more when I was sewing. I don't know what the term is, but kind of gathered it more as I sew. I think that's the term. So here are the other patterns I'm trying. So this was done without a pattern. I just cut and just sized it to her, and that's why it kind of came out not exactly the best size. I have this pattern, and this is for like a little shift dress. I found this on the internet. I can search for the links and put them in the box if you're interested. But this one I had a little difficulty with because I think I need to really make sure I mark the solid line on my fabric so I can see the margin of where I need to be cutting and folding and sewing, so I have nice even finished edges. So I'm gonna go back to that because the scraps of fabric that I put together look terrible. Here's another pattern I found. This came from a Japanese site. She has these available for personal use, and it was supposed to be two pieces that attach to make a dress. Well, a top piece and a bottom piece. These are three pieces, and then here's the dress you would gather and sew it to the top. And I pinned them together so I don't lose them. It's just that these little pieces are really difficult to cut. They're very hard for me to trace and cut with the scissor. So if someone has tips on how to do that, I'd love it. I'm really having a difficult time, and I have been moving pretty slow, but maybe I need to move slower when I work with these things. Here's something that I did do successfully with a pattern, which is, it was a really simple pattern, and I stapled the collar to the main part. It's a cape. So you do this with felt ideally. You could probably do it with felt and another type of fabric, but I just did it with a piece of felt. And here's the finished product. It's really cute. And this one was nice because I did it by hand. I cut, and then you just sew these seams together on the wrong side, and then you sew the collar on. So you can see it's all hand stitched, and it looks pretty neat on the outside. The nice thing about felt is you can kind of hide some of the little imperfections. And I used a little hook to close it up. I don't remember if there were any suggestions on how to close this, or if you want to close it, but that's what I used, and I just sewed the same thread and just matched it together. I put these earrings on because I was thinking of like how would it look with some embellishments around the collar, so I might actually put some beads on this. But I have some other fabrics. I have some lavender felt, I have some gold, I really like this color, and I have some kind of beige. These two are cut because I started experimenting, so I actually used a beret pattern from that same Japanese site, and I don't think it's going to fit on my doll's head, and I don't want to show it because it looks a little ugly. It's not ugly, it just looks a little weird, and so I'm going to pass on the beret. But if you want the link, I can put it in the box. It might work if your doll has flatter, thinner hair. And then I was just experimenting with how a dress would be if I use felt.